You guys ready?
It's the plan, Bobby.
We're winging it, Jerry.
You always winged it.
We're gonna get killed.
What you mean, we, white boy? You ready?
Here we go.
What up? Welcome into the OG NBA betting show. It's myself and Babano for today. We have a nice two-piece, and we'll see if we can find some ways to get paid. Long weekend, Babano. Been a while since we talked. How you doing today?
Doing good. It was a entertaining weekend to NBA. We did have some really good games this weekend. The Knicks-Pistons was a crazy finish. Unfortunately, a choke job, gag job, collapse, whatever you want to call it, from the LA Lakers against Minnesota in Game 4, to go down 3-1 in that series. You got to find a way to wrap up that game and win it. And the fact they didn't ends up probably being what's going to end up ending their season. It's going to be tough for them to come back down 3-1. Boston took care of business. The Damian Lillard injury from Milwaukee, of course, and Indiana rolls after that. And obviously, I think the Bucks are done. Pacers will beat them. But at the same point in time, and I said this to you before the show, Damian Lillard getting injured obviously is a big deal, and the Bucks are probably a little stunned by it, and it's hard to recover from that. But you still got to play defense and play hard at that end of the floor, and they didn't do any of that last night, so they deserved, to get their ass kicked. Oklahoma City swept the Memphis Grizzlies. Not a big surprise. The Nuggets game against the Clippers on Saturday was a thriller. The Nuggets led big. They almost blew it. And then they get rescued with that shot by Gordon, just getting the ball out of his hands on that dunk right before time expired. So crazy weekend, Skee. I got to admit, first round, sometimes you don't get the best games, but there were multiple games down to the wire and thrilling finishes.
Yeah, definitely. Even though, like you said, one of them I didn't like. Earlier on the show, I did with Vino, I did say, I played a video, but you guys couldn't hear it. EJ comes right in here and says, play the Luka video. So let's go to that real quick before we get started. We'll start the show, like I said, with a laugh, and then we'll get to trying to make some money.
Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic.
That was good.
That was good?
Yeah.
Doncic.
Doncic.
Does anyone ever tell you it sounds like Ja Morant?
How?
Luka Doncic.
Oh.
Just kidding. We'll cut that.
No, you won't.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's.
I don't know. I enjoyed it.
John Morant's got a lot more time on his hands to tote that thing now. Yep.
He definitely does, and he'll probably be on another team next year. That'll be my guess. All right, let's get to it. Cavs and Heat will be first up. We'll go. Or it opened -9, -8.5 is what we see now, and total up a little bit from 210.5 to 211.5. Babano. Injury report: Garland is. Let me just refresh here. He's still questionable. No Kevin Love, no Rozier. Here's the thing. Like, I want to ask you this about the total going up. You have a Cleveland team who hasn't had much trouble scoring at all versus Miami, and then you have a Miami team who shot 47% from three and only scored 87 points. So I'm curious, how much better can they shoot to contribute? How are you viewing this one, Babano?
This is all about an organization that has got Heat culture. We've heard it for years. Look, they're just not as good as Cleveland, and Cleveland's going to win this series, and maybe even tonight finish it off in a sweep. But you're talking about laying 8.5 points on the road in a closeout game. And you have to measure on the other side how much pride and how much, self-respect do the Miami Heat have to fight right till the end. And, you got to assume that one of the leaders on the team, one of your best players now, obviously Tyler Hero, when you hear something like what he said after Game 3, where he says, we don't care how we got in, but we're playing until the final buzzer, whether it's Game 5, Game 4, Game 5, Game 6, Game 7. We're going to keep competing right till the end. We're not going out for nothing, was his direct quote after the Game 3 loss. Now, the problem is, you're not as good as Cleveland. They've basically had their way at the offensive end, especially, of course, what we saw in Game 3, 124 to 87. The Cavs shot 53% for the game. 22 from Allen, 19 Mobley, Max Strus, 18, hurting his old team. Donovan Mitchell, only 13 points from Donovan Mitchell, and still ended up winning 124-87. DeAndre Hunter and Ty Jerome has been one of the great stories here of this first round for Cleveland. He's been absolutely terrific. Now Garland, we'll have to see if he suits up, and that's the funny thing about that win too, is there was no Darius Garland either in game 3, and Cleveland was still able to win commanding, and he's been upgraded to questionable. But I think this is all about the collective heart and guts of the Miami Heat. And I think there's something in there to avoid, going out with a whimper. I know long term, the thought process with a lot of NBA playoff bettors is we fade the team down 3-0. There's 1-2-3 Cancun. I don't know. This organization of Miami with Spoelstra, Riley, I can't see them just folding the tent. I think if they go out in 4 straight, they'll at least go out with effort. They'll at least go out with throw as big a punch as they can, and see where it gets them tonight against this Cleveland team, even though they're outmanned at so many places. So I'm going to give Miami a shot here tonight, Skee. I'm going to split it up here. Miami first half, plus 4.5. Miami full game, plus 8.5.
Kind of digging that first half. Yeah, I can get the double up. Razor says Cavs team total over seems easy. It does. It definitely does. But, maybe some pride for Miami in this one. Casey's, I did see, I read this. I didn't hear him say it. I'm not sure, if he was just, if he was just messing around when he was saying that, or, I got to hear that quote for real. Only
and
read
does
it.
Cleveland have the urgency now? Because this is a first for a lot of them, as far as, closing a series this easily. Do they have the urgency to finish it on the road, or are they just, content, just, maybe we'll let this one slide. We'll finish it off in game 5 back home in front of our fans. So something to look for tonight as well.
Well, let me ask you this, Babano, because you're on Miami.
Yeah.
Do you see Miami? Do you see them winning either game, or do you see them? If Miami wins, do you think they're winning with their defense? Like the Cavs team total 110.5. I mean, maybe you're betting on Miami's defense in this game. What's your opinion there?
Well, it's got to get better. You can't give up 53% from the field and almost 40% from 3-point range. I mean, there's nothing, but it can only get better, you would think, for the Miami Heat defensively. But so they're going to probably, I would think, play some better defense here in this game. And what's funny is Cleveland did whatever they wanted, and still that game landed on 211. Now, you didn't get much from Miami. I'd expect a little better from them. This total is sitting at 211.5. And you look at this series so far with the totals here to this point, and we've seen, obviously, the first game of this series was an over. Second game of this series also was an over. Cleveland, played. The pace was slower, noticeably, in game 3 when it went back to Miami. So kind of feels like, how can this stay under when Cleveland shot that well, and they might get Garland back, and Miami's due to pick it up offensively. But you also look at it and say, well, the pace was slower. Miami has to play better defense, can only get better. So I'm a little bit torn on the total, but I would lean over if I had to bet it.
I don't like that. I don't like going head-to-head with Babano. Don't like it.
I didn't bet the total in this game, though, so you're good. If you like the under, stick with it.
Razor in the chat said he's stirring the pot. Yeah, don't get me started, Razor. I got a lot to say about that draft, man. I got a lot to say, but we on basketball right now, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Rockets and Warriors. We'll move over there. Let's get off of this team total. So open -4. See, I'm seeing some 4.5 starting to pop up. I'm assuming because Jimmy Butler is expected to play. Total went up from 202 to 203.5. For Houston, Tate out, Landale game time decision. Man, from the start, I thought the Warriors are the better team. When you lost Jimmy, it becomes, okay, can they still, because he was the whole reason they started to look good once they got him in the trade. But they were able to win that last game without him. And that just makes me think, like, a couple guys, had some good games, but as a team, they shot 31% from 3 and still won by double digits. And the Rockets shot more free throws than them. Like, what are the Rockets? They shot 39% from 3. They shot, I think, about 9 or 10 more free throws. what are they really going to do better? I mean, they can control the boards, but I don't trust them at the end of the game. That's what it boils down to me. Like I trust Golden State at the end of the game more than I trust Rockets. So I think if you like Houston, you get in and get out with either the first quarter or first half. Do you agree with Bano, or you're approaching it differently?
Yeah, I took Houston here plus 4.5. It's just a zigzag theory, in my opinion, in this series. I just feel it's kind of shaping up to be one of these 6-7 game series, back and forth, back and forth. Golden State took game one, Houston bounced back, got game two. Golden State took game three, which was unexpected because Jimmy Butler didn't play, and there's a noticeable difference in the win-loss record of the Warriors with and without Jimmy Butler since he got there. But when you get 36 points out of Steph, and you get three other players, Podzemski, Buddy Hield, and Gary Payton, getting double figures for you, shooting 43% as a team. And look, you're able to obviously come back from a deficit. You got to give them credit for that. I think Houston, kind of their youth and inexperience showed up a bit because they had that good first quarter. It was close at halftime, close in the third quarter. And, you don't want to let a team that's undermanned hang around. They did. And like I said, it became, offensively anything Golden State wanted in the fourth quarter. You would think logic would say that, if you like Golden State, you're thinking is, well, they just beat this team. And you're right. A lot of it, you pointed it out. I mean, can Houston play better? Is there a better game for Houston? Not to mention Golden State got 36 of those points from Steph. All the free throw advantage still for Houston, still lost that game. Jimmy Butler's coming back. They've been great with Jimmy and Steph together. And yet at the same point in time, here's this point spread still around that 4. It hasn't moved all that much. And sometimes we see this in the NBA. It makes no sense why this would happen, but you get one of your top players back, and now you got the whole band together, and it's supposed to be, you're going to roll, and you get that player back, and it's like everybody relaxes. And that intensity and that, we've got to dig in and do more without Jimmy Butler, like we saw from Golden State in game 3. You don't get that kind of mindset tonight, potentially from Golden State in game 4. Plus, this guy has a pelvic injury. Like, if he played, I don't think he's going to be like totally 100%. So, even if Jimmy does play, like I said, I worry about that. I worry about the everybody just, they relax a little bit because they got Jimmy Butler back. And if you're Houston, you're stepping your game up because you can't go down 3-0 in this series, even with home court, because I don't think you're good enough to beat, especially if Butler's going to play the rest of the series. You're going to take your chances trying to beat Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry and this Golden State team 3 games in a row. You don't want to get to that point if you're Houston. So factor that in. Little bit of maybe a team letdown following everyone galvanizing in game 3, and you get Jimmy Butler back and everybody maybe relaxes a bit. Houston bringing an effort, the zigzag back and forth nature of this series so far, straight up and against the spread. And at the end of the day, Skee, I landed on Houston, and I took the Rockets here plus 4.5.
Fair enough. I can definitely think situationally it's Rockets. It's hard for me to look any way besides that because of that. But things I said earlier just kind of had me hesitating. So shout out to our guy Wham Bam in the chat. He did drop his Fred VanVleet over 14.5 points. Man, he better shoot better if the Rockets going to have a chance tonight. Razor, meanwhile, says not so many points. He thinks it'll be a lower scoring game tonight. Appreciate y'all sharing in the chat.
Every game's gone under in this series, by the way. It hasn't even really come close to well, actually, it did in game 2. 109.94, but the other games we saw 180 and 197, didn't even crack 200. So I wish you all the best, Razor. I think you might have a winner there with that under. I'm not rushing to bet. You'd think 203. I'm jumping at the chance to bet an over. Like Boston, Orlando, I've been jumping at the chance to bet over below 200, and I've been rewarded for that a couple of times. But this series, it's just been very difficult for both teams to get consistent shot making going.
Yeah, I could definitely understand the under, but that's quick and easy, man. That's the NBA card for today. Tomorrow we'll have 4 games, probably have more than 2 of us on the screen, but for now we'll move it on over to best bets, and I will get to go first. I never really get to go first, so I'll say this. I guess I'll do it for him. How about that? I don't have a bet, so I can't give you guys anything. If I was playing, it's Houston first half or it's Miami, probably first half as well. But Wham Bam does have some looks. I'll shout his out because he's not here. Fred VanVleet over 14.5 points right there for my guy Wham Bam. And then one more, since I'm not giving one, Max Struess over 9.5 points he's giving out. So appreciate you, Wham Bam. And I will have a best bet on tomorrow's show. Bano, slide it to you. Let the people know what you think is the best way to get to the window and take us home.
Yeah, let's go to the game we just talked about. I know Golden State, you would think Jimmy Butler back. They just beat Houston by 11 points in game 3. Of course, they're going to win and cover and win by double digits, cover this number. It's not always that easy. I worry about durability here a little bit, first game back for Butler, and I worry about just the collective, everybody exhales for Golden State after everybody gave just a little bit more to the cause in game 3 to overcome the absence of Jimmy Butler. I worry they relax tonight, Golden State, and I don't think Houston's relaxing. They can't afford to go down 3-1, and I think at the very least, Houston's in this game right till the end. So we'll take the Houston Rockets plus 4.5 against Golden State for my best bet for this Monday NBA slate. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. And I know you guys tune into this show every day because the NBA is a hell of a drug. And you're looking at the plugs. Be sure to like, subscribe, share the motherfucking video. Y'all stay fresh, stay blessed, and let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest. Yeah, man.
You guys ready? It's the plan, Bobby.
We're winging it, Jerry.
You always wing it. We're gonna get killed.
What you mean, we, white boy?
You ready? Here we go.